flawless map for Fnatic so far. But Corrode, right? We have to speak about Corrode because it's up here already. Bea, tell me why you're screaming.
What do you mean? Why are you not screaming?
The Wayne stage?
Yeah, the Wayne stage. I was going to say the Wayne stage, the Nats Brimstone. Like, I don't know, where do I start? The sky, purple in the sky. Like, there is a lot to unpack here. And of course, we will have to wait until they start playing to see how this is going to turn out. Because if we speak about stopping power with a Sage, with a Brimstone, and with 2 stuns, or kind of a stun, if you think about the double duelist, I want to see how much of that is going to be selfish play for the side of Liquid. I think that they understood that there were a little bit of gaps, that probably the Cypher was just not good enough. So is the solution putting Nats on Brimstone?
I want to know if the solution is to have Camo Minibu on this Waylay and Neon, right? Because previously it was Camo on the Yoru that they had kind of changed to, which
Minibu is
he is such a good Neon, but coming into this, I had kind of thought, okay, like they have a Yoru, they actually have an agent that's going to be able to deal with Alpha. You know, we've hyped so much about how amazing his Vice has been, and the stopping power that they have off of Bakash on the KO could be the thing that goes up against this Waylay and Neon, in my opinion.
It is so Team Liquid pilled that Nats is playing an agent for the first time on such an important map. It was the Waylay and Champs and today's Brimstone.
But that's the scary thing about Liquid. We've seen them change their compositions all throughout the last 2 days. They haven't been sticking to what we've seen from them. So for a team like Fnatic, who likes to prep beforehand, what are you prepping for the stage? Brimstone, Neon?
I mean, do not forget, something that I had highlighted in these past few weeks whilst Team Liquid have had this lower bracket run is that Team Liquid love a composition change. They did the exact same thing against Team Heretics when we think back to Kickoff last year. This is what they do. This is quite literally what they do.
Mind games, and this is an insane way to start off our lower bracket final with only 1 ticket left to Santiago. Between our teams, Fnatic and Liquid, who's going to start off strong? Let's find out as we're heading into the first map of the series with our casters, Fitch and Tom.
Oh, it's time to punch that last ticket, Tom. Both of these teams have had one hell of a journey here. Liquid bracing that lower bracket run, and Fnatic falling by a round in the previous final. And it really is fair to say either of these teams it could be said they've earned their spot on the international stage, but sadly only one of them will make it there.
Yeah, that is the sad thing about it. These are 2 teams that are renowned for, at minimum, making it to international events. I think maybe with the changes to Liquid, how much they switched up their roster, there might have been a few more questions there, but either way, with how they've been playing, expectations are high, and a lot of it is because of these 2 guys on your screen right now. A man in Nats who started off as, at a point, the world's best player, running it down on Viper, beating everybody that came into his path, and the man opposite who many do, or at least should, put as the best IGL in the world. One of them is not making it to Santiago, and it all kicks off here.
Barriers up, and away they go. Fnatic playing quite passive down the bottom of mid. They've already been smoked off, but the pressure's coming in elsewhere as Liquid get aggressive on A main. The dog, the boaster, was trying to break all the ruse as Wayne finds one on top of his wall. An orb as well on the way out. Good early economy for them. Fnatic try to recover this man disadvantage. It's doubled up from Liquid in this corner. So much damage done in a previous game by Camo, but this time we see the numbers equalize.
Yeah, after what was a bit of a worrying start, caught by a surprise, Fnatic have been able to recover. The space taken was massive, and well, a man that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on this map. It seems like his home turf of Corrode Althea has given them the advantage. Nats will turn it back, though. Level things up for the moment, and even take an advantage with Wayne. It leaves Vekaj. He broke 100 kills yesterday in the best of 5. Here, he just needs 2.
That plan's certainly not ideal for him. Got to get a move on now with the smoke down. Suspects a player in heaven. Great read from Bakash. Goes in to stop this before it gets too far out of hand. Wayne, it's not a bad idea. Sticking it in that moment. Not many players would dive in like that, but Bakash built different. That's going to be a Red Bull clutch to kick us off.
Of course, it had to be a Fnatic clutch to start out the game. It's something we expect quite a lot of. I'm sure Wayne would have been... He's already made a name for himself just in the last game alone. It was a space of a few rounds where he put off 2 of the greatest clutches we've ever seen. But I think we have to sort of caveat this map a little bit. This is one that, I'll be honest, I expected Liquid to ban. I didn't think they'd even try and play this because of how good Fnatic have looked and because of how poor they've looked on the other side. But they have completely changed their composition. They've swapped the roles, they've swapped who's playing what, they put Mini Boo on an agent that we've seen him pretty much tear apart teams. If they were ever going to play this map, this is the way I'd like them to play it. This round, though, I can't see them, unless they get exits, I can't really see them doing any damage at all.
Yeah, that wall sitting there has to be broken first. And they're actually going to go through it together, looking for the fight as 3. It's very hard to find the value here, especially when the pack is split like that. And okay, the stun might make it uncomfortable for a player or 2. Some damage comes in, but 3 men survive.
Yeah, a little bit more cost than maybe they would have liked, but ultimately with pistols available, it's really not the end of the world.
I suppose it's a good time to ask then, Tom, heading into this buy round. Like, obviously, you touched on this map, but with how the Veto overall has gone down, where I know we spoke before the game, you said you could sort of see this being like a 3-1 to Fnatic. Are you sticking with that now?
Yeah, I think especially the first few maps, I'm a little bit worried, because you've got Corrode, I think I heavily put to Fnatic. I think Bind, I lean to Liquid, but it's definitely not definitive. Abyss, I'd say, is fairly heavy. If it goes further, I think that's where it starts to get more interesting. I think Breezes look great for Liquid, and Split maybe a little more up in the air. I like the aggression again, though. Wayne put onto this stage, obviously normally he's been sticking to those smokes, but allows him to be that little bit more aggressive, use some of that individual skill that has been spoken about. And with Fnatic putting quite a bit into this round, obviously it is still a bonus. See how much damage they can do.
Oh, Wayne is on a tear. Yeah, I mean, you started this map out talking about him, and for good reason. Yesterday, those 2 clutches.
He normally only does it when everyone else is dead, though. It's a bit unfair if he just does it at the beginning of rounds.
And it's going to already clearly be an annoyance in terms of that wall early on. We've seen it towards A main, but we know that there's plenty more angles. This could come into play. A nice attempt with the flash thrown out, but the number's already too far behind, and Wayne will be the one to find a 4th. Rez online coming into round 4, and 1 on the board for Liquid.
Yeah, already just seeing that with this guy, I guess being a little bit let off the leash. Like when you're playing the Sage, you can be more proactive. You can have those aggressive fights and then put slows down to make it awkward for people to swing you. And just giving him the backup to use some of that individual skill, which, hey, if the guy can get 3 kills while on 5 HP, imagine what he can do on full HP. A great round for Liquid to kick off. But as said, this is where Fnatic have their buy. They have an ultimate available, although so does Wayne. And we'll see if they can now start to build into this attack side a little more.
I think the main thing is, though, if it's, well, never mind the theory crafting, Liquid are going aggressive right off rip. 3, 4, walking down mid. No presence on A that they fought for with that wall a couple of times now. And they're conditioning their opponents, but Vikash somehow ends up with 2. Purpo doing his best to pull this back, but they're stuck up close. And Team Liquid need to make something of this aggression, and they have, sending Boaster into a clutch. The first already found, but the spike down in the open. A crossfire, but while the smokes come in, Boaster takes his timing. The Nets takes the round. Team Liquid 2-2, but it's a bit of a nail biter.
Well, it seems to be very much within the Liquid wheelhouse. We saw this versus Heretics. I think we saw this versus Vitality as well. Their goal is not to necessarily beat you with their game plan. Their game plan is to stop your game plan. It's get in your face, it's get scrappy, it's fight you before you can get anywhere near what you wanted to achieve. And this round is all about that. They never stop pushing. They're fighting for the spawn towards the end of the round. And while Nats, sure, it came down to a clutch, but they now get a huge economy advantage. They get to come in with an outlaw for this next round, and, well, Fnatic, a few pistols and a Guardian. It's definitely a low buy.
Nice exec already. Kayak, though, not able to punish that kill up close. The quick reactions of Camo got him out of dodge in time. And numbers here should be able to avoid that util coming through. Camo actually, steps back from the stun, but he might not even be needed. Coming through that smoke is clearly a death sentence, and the brakes pumped now for Fnatic. The Guardian they have in play, the only real strength of this round, and do still have that steel garden to fall back on. I mean, if they can find a pick, maybe that gets them into the site, but the numbers thinning out. They need a way back in. Crashies has done well to find one.
I still see Alpha here alive, and I still believe that maybe there's some hope. He's been having unbelievable rounds on this map. Camo, you need to be careful with peaks like that when he's got a Guardian in hand. He's going to get tagged up by the Tiger, but I don't know if there's really a world where they push this, and honestly, I don't mind that from Wayne. He's been getting so many kills that the res will likely come back online in a few rounds anyway. And instead, they're going to put the pressure on. Eventually, they'll seal the deal. It took a res, they baited an ult, but ultimately, it is still Liquid to extend and get the lead.
Well, I think coming in with the low buy, rushing into that site where, you know, they're denied their initial aggression. They have the stun put down to try to catch Camo, but he gets out. All things considered, that's a pretty big win, just getting the res out. I think Fnatic will have a smile on their face coming out of that round, but coming into this one, full royalties for them, rifles and credits put on the line. This should be where they put it on the board. They don't let Liquid run away with things for too long, as the lead was just claimed.
Yeah, I think also Liquid in this map can take those risks because they must almost expect to lose it. You see it again. Just an immediate fight forward. Constant pressure being put on. Hunter's Fury even going to be used, but Purple is flying ahead of it. Camo is as well. You're expected to flee, fall back, run for the hills when a Hunter's Fury comes through, but instead they fight forward again. The W key constantly being pressed, and Wayne just isn't stopping, going for more and more. Only one standing in Crashies. As 4 players remain on the other side. The first comes easy, maybe not. Doesn't even get that one. Wayne on 2 HP.
4-2 for Team Liquid on the map that we had questions about how they'd perform if they could match up to Fnatic. Well, in the first 6 rounds, or as the 6th ends, a timeout coming from Fnatic. They won the pistol, the follow-up, and nothing really since then. And Team Liquid's staple early aggression.
Let's go! Let's go!
He's dead right, in their face. That's how they're playing. Heads up Valorant. And it's different positions every time as you try to slow them with the smoke, or even as they put smokes down, denying you map control. They're invading those smokes on Team Liquid's side on the defense, flashing out with the sky, and making this such a difficult attack side to play because, as you said in one of the rounds, you just cannot play your game here. You are forced to adapt to what Team Liquid are doing, which already gives them a leg up.
Oh yeah, and take a look at like how this match has sort of gone. It has always been a sort of favorable side for Fnatic in those games. They have been the squad that have been able to sort of take those victories over the line in majority of circumstances, and I do think that realistically that's where a lot of people will be thinking that this is going today, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Liquid already. Bear in mind that when you go back to the defensive side they have versus Vitality, the map that they lost, it was this one, 13-8 and 13-5. They only managed 2 defensive rounds. So they've really struggled on this defensive side. They've got double that already, and they've not played it as a defense. They played it as an attack.
Yeah, I mean, that is the key. The best defense, a good offense, and Liquid putting that to practice on the server. 5 seconds left, the timeout from Fnatic. What's the fix been? And this won't be the round we see it, most likely. Again, it's going to be that low buy. They did well last time to get some ults out of them, but, well, no pressure on the shoulders of Team Liquid to start. A 5v3. Also, no need to continue this aggression, but they are feeling it, and that could be their downfall. Pride does come before the fall, and a big mistake there to continue pushing the issue.
You get into the mindset of W gaming, and sometimes it's hard to let go. They've given guns over. Fnatic were happy to play much further back, but Nats taking out Vakaj. Now leaving Boaster in the clutch again, and is he going to go all the way around to maybe even try and link up with his teammate? No, it was a bait. It was a bait to try and get Boaster to look the other way, try and get him to lock in on a different position. In the meantime, Nats is right back around this angle once again. Still means there's a chance for Boaster to isolate the fights, though.
That's the main concern. They are just waiting for that plan to come through. Whether it will be orbital strike, I mean, it will be a big commitment to throw in. But the Molly, on the other hand, that's going to block them all from the rotate. Wrap around from Nats, contain that smoke, and spam through to take Boaster down. An unusual strategy. I don't know if he planned for that with the gap in the Molly or if that was an adjustment. But either way, very well handled. Another round for Liquid. And yeah, they do overheat. I can almost understand it. They just called a pause. You crush them like that right away. But when you're up against that low buy, continuing the aggression, it's usually a bridge too far. That's crazy.
I genuinely think if we ever introduce agent bans and you're playing up against Miniboo, you ban Neil. You just do it every time. Yeah. Like, he's been doing things all the way through this stage that I saw a little bit. That was what it was.
Hey, where do you you push?
I feel like he was going to say something much meaner than that. He's like, no, remember who you are. You're the nice guy.
Don't even have one. Don't even have one. Save that for the third. Oh, 5-2. A 5-round streak from Team Liquid here. This is the map you almost give to Fnatic, and well, Liquid are giving them nothing. Almost got him through the wall there. Alpha's wondering if he was seen. And it's still aggression coming through. This time it will be punished. The slow goes in, the orbital strike, but there's a gap, and these players are safe, able to just about get out. A nice idea by Liquid. This time it doesn't land.
Yeah, I think Alpha's probably one of like 5 players that would have been quick enough to hit that reaction shot on a guy flying through the air. Thankfully, Fnatic do have Alpha here. Gives them the advantage, wall placed. Almost as a bit of a bait. Well, Minibu's looking to get rid of it. The aggression on the other side is punished, though. The push and pull of Fnatic starting to come into effect, and you look how open that B site currently is. However, Nat's getting in early enough. He's going to be able to smoke it and slow them down.
This is so good from Alpha. The second his wall got tripped, he walks back. He feels that space should now be that bit more open. And he could be right if noise was made on B. And the knife goes through. Here's the ult as well. That's such a good fake. I saw it in the cam as Alpha called for this play. But does he expect there to be another player? They might think Miniboo, the one who was on A earlier, is the last man standing on this side of the map. The step's heard, and that's Wayne's chance to strike with a kill on the other side of the map. This is far from over. And the wall, along with the slow, it's going to cost them so much time. Fnatic make it in. The slow buys them space, but they need to stand their ground on this swing, and just about in the nick of time, the plant comes in. A recovery on what could have been a disaster for Fnatic, and only Nat stands in the way of their victory now.
It doesn't have any utility to play with, whereas, well, you can see the stars falling from the sky, things starting to align for Fnatic as Nats is basically hoping for a mistake, and he's going to get flanked on instead. Kayak with the wraparound, and Fnatic will gain their third round. A break in the streak of Liquid. And one that still had moments where I feared, especially with Wayne on that angle, I worried he was going to just take this whole thing down.
Again, really good work by Alpha to start out taking that pick, and then the read towards that A site. The space taken, even though he got punished for it. They made good use of that.
Let's go, my bro.
And the call to go back to the A site, what wins them that round? The first since the follow-up to the pistol. It's been a big streak from Liquid. And because of that, Fnatic won't be facing an eco anytime soon. Ops still in play. It's for Miniboo on mid. Fnatic might be giving them an opportunity. The smoke's not going to stay around forever.
It is worth mentioning as well, though, that
right here,
while this might seem a little bit worrying for Fnatic, their defensive side of this map has been sublime. 8 rounds versus mates, a 6-0 versus Liquid last time, and 10 versus Foot. And with Miniboo now down, even going to just put utility straight in on towards Wayne, but he has just walled himself into a corner. You can't get me if I can't get you either.
Yeah, give him time to recover. Now the smoke down as well makes it so hard for them to use this off that was seen just moments ago. Wayne caught. He's made it just about around that corner. Half his HP gone, little heal, but unfortunately, Nat's going back to fight for the space to deny that plan, to at least make it costly on the health bars. He's lost his life, and immediately the call from Liquid is to go for the save.
Yeah, I think that was just almost perfect from Kayak and Alpha here. Get the opener, claim all of the space. Like, even though Wayne is still safe in the corner, he can't do anything while they encroach on the rest of the site, knowing that they've already cleared out Miniboo. And then Alpha has utility. Take away any of their weaponry, and then make it that if they want to flee, which they do because they don't have a weapon, they're going to be caught by your thorns. They're going to take damage, and then have an operator waiting for anybody going back in. Wonderful stuff from Fnatic. Good adaptation from what we saw in some of the earlier rounds. And as I said, if they end this off 6-6, I'm still confident that this is their map.
Certainly no reason to doubt it, but in the back of my mind, you think about what Liquid have shown us so far. They've had some good ideas when it comes to early set plays. And just with the initial, the Sage walls and so on, we saw that dive through from Camo to attempt to hinder some players and get them hit by the orbital strike. No doubt there's plenty more up their sleeve. And if they can just keep eking out a couple of defensive rounds from this point forward, they'll be pretty happy. 5 already on the board. How far can they push it is the question that remains to be answered. And with their credits dwindling, this round may dictate the answer to that.
Yeah, it's very cool that they have this many set plays on a comp that they literally didn't play the last time they played this map, which was yesterday. So it's clear that Liquid have been working on multiple different comps. Either that or they stayed up all night, which would be a terrible idea, and I don't think they did that.
I hope not.
Would be dedication. I'll give them that, but no, I think this is clearly something they've had in their back pocket. Maybe a slightly riskier comp if the last one didn't work out, which it didn't. But again, Fnatic doing what Fnatic does best. These slow rounds, figuring out the map, looking for openers, giving Kayak opportunities to try and find a pick with the operator. Wayne on the other side, though, is just like, well, you can put a wall down, so can I. I'm just going to, again, delay. And that's what this Sage is almost perfect for. Let him fight forward. Let him use those slows if anybody tries to make a pacey hit. And then let me make it more awkward for you. You have to break this wall, otherwise walking through this gap, it makes it very easy for me.
Yeah, and the wall at 1 minute, I mean, this is just going to give you so much information. They've broken it, so there were players outside. Team Liquid happy to sit down on that control, push up towards B main as well, take that deep information, and from there, Fnatic almost forced to run into a stack. Now, they've only seen one with that suppress. They know now no one's in the corner. You start to think that it could just be that solo defender. Yeah, the Sage should be somewhere now taken down. Let's see, one guy left on site. Let's go in, but there's actually a backup. There's a second player here. Flash pop. Purple still standing. Dominates the duels, and the round is for Team Liquid. As a result, that third man flying under the radar has caused it to come crashing down for Fnatic.
It's just... There was milliseconds in that. Literal milliseconds. Him trying to jump out of the way to flash his opponents and then landing both shots in that split second. Because even though it was so late, look, 10 seconds on the clock here, 8 as he goes for the kills. If he dies there, they still get the point, they still win the round. Like, that is how much of a margin that came down to for Purpo.
Look at my molly. Wait.
And as you can see, well, he had no choice but to look at your molly, mate. It almost killed him. But to be fair,
backup plan.
Even if he just cost him an extra 1 second, molly lands, still can't get the plant. It's a really nice play from Team Liquid, and I think they responded to that info perfectly. Again, that late wall from Wayne, buying so much information, and you have to really commend Liquid for what they've brought to bear here today. As you said, that quick turnaround in the comp, but this looks like something that's been rehearsed for a long time. Except for that fight. But the second man there, again, it is kind of a bait.
It is literally bait. It's you're going to fight. I assume there should have been some sort of retreat plan, but that plan wasn't taken. And then you've left Minibu. The problem is he now feels like he needs to get a kill. Otherwise, it's just untraded and you've fallen back. And, well, even if there was a trap in play, if Fnatic avoid it now, they really don't care.
Well, this time they wait outside that wall. Again, last time he broke it, they rotated in pretty quick. They waited. So now, they let the clock run a little bit, then burst on in. But the quick rotation and mini boost still sees that third player here. And now a danger in this corner. The Judge. Oh, it's going to be terrifying. The jump shot. Oh, it strips Makash of more than half his health. But they're still standing with 3. Purpo looks to change things as they break through this smoke. With the flash, it will be the same in response, but Makash dodged it! And nobody dodged his shots in return! Feeding up a healthy course of lead, and Alpha's there with the dessert! Fnatic 1 away from tying this up at the half, and I didn't think I'd be saying that coming into this map, Tom, but with how things started, it's quite the recovery.
I almost feel like Purpo should be playing Phoenix. Like the way that he's playing this is like, I'm going to flash for myself around a corner and then jump in. Like it is just Phoenix gameplay, but a Sky in disguise.
He's watched far too much Jack Igo pods. I mean, I don't know if he's singing Maroon 5 down there, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, it didn't work out this time. Vekash definitely ready to play that anti-flash. 6-5. This was looking pretty damning at 5-2, but as said, Fnatic comfortable on that defense. This is so aggressive from the defensive side. And again, it's working out. Minibu's running through his own teammate Smoke, and it's worked out wonderfully. Just a complete wipe down off that Neon, and they'll take the lead at the half.
You know, it is a bit derivative to say there was no strategy to that defensive side, right? They had set plays, they had plans, but it feels like they threw the playbook out the window in favor of brute force in so many of these rounds. Liquid looking strong on map 1/1. More to come after the break.
Your body knows. A sense of victory. Seized when mind, movement, and gear ignite as one. Now, step into your zone. Designed to win.
Welcome back, folks. A surprise performance from Team Liquid in the first half of Corrode, leading 7-5. And Tom, a whole lot of ideas brought to that defensive side around attacking. I'm now very curious to see if they're going to sit in spawn on the attack or
I was going to say
that same energy.
I do think Fnatic will expect those aggressive plays a little bit more now they're on the defensive side.
I would hope
probably
so.
have better setups for it as well on their defensive
Quite
side.
possibly.
So I think this is where it definitely gets a bit tougher for Liquid. Obviously, again, last time they played this map, they got 0 rounds on this attack versus Fnatic. So even though that was a good first half, there still needs to be more in the tank. But as I said, this comp has been far more impressive, more exciting than anything else we've seen from them on this map. So if there was ever a time to believe that they could steal Corrode away, the one that's, I feel like, meant to be the surefire win for Fnatic, this might be the comp to do it.
Well, 2 rounds between them. The pistol could put Fnatic on equal footing or send Liquid flying into the lead early on in this best of 5. And on the map, I think most people expected Fnatic to have a fairly easy time, but it's been anything but. It rotates from Liquid. And again, they've shown presence A main. Now 2 players coming through this connector. I mean, this is clearly a split of the A site. That's clearly where they want this fight to go, at least from the perspective of Fnatic. But as we can see, there's something else cooking here from Liquid. And although Boaster's getting suspicious, he will be the only one on that side of the map when 5 players come bursting through the gates. I don't expect him to do much other than grab the info.
I'll see if he can get one, it would be nice. But yeah, he's sitting all the way back, hoping to try and maybe just hold on to some of the space. That would be a bigger issue. If they lose full control of everything, it's going to be tough. Vecat has already just gone through and managed to get himself one for free. That's Nats out. He's the exact guy you'd want in a post plan. And in the meantime, Liquid have got aggressive. They've taken full control of the spawn and even swinging back in. Boaster not quite prepared for Miniboo to be that aggressive in the last 2, only just getting into position.
Well, nice shots from Crashies, but 1 kill, 2, still 2 more to go. Miniboo up top will swing wide, and the Bandit closes this round. Liquid 8-5 with a pistol already under the belt of Fnatic. Again, you know, if this was the second pistol for Liquid, you'd go, well, that kind of explains the scoreline, but they've looked better when it comes to rifle rounds. This is very worrying.
There were moments. But again, I do feel like it's almost going to get to a point where you're the coaching staff, you're Loan, you're Yao-Tsin, you're watching Miniboo play Neon and just go, oh, we just got to put him on every single map. Like, he just runs around and fries people while they're trying to just set up for things. Like, he's the most disruptive player I think I've ever seen play this game. Well, let's just say Fnatic have got the read wrong here. They're all outside B. Everyone on Liquid's outside A. So unless they do a fake and run all the way back, which they're not doing, I think this is just going to be 5 players trying to die to the spike.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance. At least an orb found for Crashies. 4 away from the Hunter's Fury now, but for Liquid, This is the chance to build up major economy. They've already got the one pistol in the form of the Bandit in play. So for Fnatic to actually do damage, they need 2 picks. Playing back in with these classics, that's not going to be very easy. Alpha's at least got the Bandit. He'll go first, and he will go. Indeed, straight out of the round. And Bonchamp's getting anything out of this one.
That's just the calm of Nats. He completely ignores Kayak diving over the top because he knows that, okay. This really shouldn't be very costly, lads. This should have been a nice clean one. This should have been very easy. You've just lost yourself 3 players.
What just happened?
And yeah, that was a couple of SMGs gone. Okay, it's not the end of the world, but 1 rifle goes with it. And yeah, that is as good as that ever could have gone when you gamble on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, especially with the initial fights going the other way. They've done a remarkable job. I need to see what Crashies did here, because he was tucked in the spawn. Look at this, 5 versus 2. There should have been no damage from this point forward. Kayak gets a lot done, but then...
Yeah. Oh. The thing about Crashies is he can just do things that nobody else can. Like yesterday, he was playing on the stage, and I was watching him stream as well. It was really weird.
Yeah, right? I don't know how he did that. Super positioning. That's a next step in quantum computing, I believe. I'll have to have a chat with him after. Figure that one out. Pick his brain. 9-5. Round 15 sees Liquid pick up the pace straight in towards this A site, but they're falling flat as they go running through that choke point. There's only 3 left. 2 losses. Damage done to Wayne. That's almost taken him out of the round.
1 HP clutch? Oh, he healed.
Yeah, there's the heal at least. He's also got some coming in from Sky, so back to reasonably decent health, but man advantage doubled up on. Too soon.
Taking their time. Ooh, almost. They do have to be a little bit careful, but Nats has now gone on the other side. Wayne, he's a little bit healthier. Also has res. I don't think he's getting out of here alive. Well, Crashies make sure of it. 3 players standing back onto the board for Fnatic. And well, yeah, I think we've just witnessed maybe a small piece of what Liquid are going to be attempting. That was so quick on their way into the site, but Fnatic do very well to deal with it.
Yep, they win the opening fights. And I think there's no reason for Liquid to come into that underestimating their ability in those duels. This time it didn't land. Miniboo lights him up and just, misses probably 6-7 shots in a row. That's what happens. But he did a lot of damage. And I think the potential is there when it comes to the buy rounds that Liquid are about to pull out. A res there as well, so even if they stumble early, they can pull players back in. They have to contend with Crashies on this big old gun. You know, if you can't beat him, join him. And he's doing a good job at least to start. See if he can have that same impact over mid that Brock did. Way back at Champs. How's he gotten away with? He's out of there! That's madness. And with Purpo and the Sage, Purpo can get healed back up, and then he can heal us to the other player.
Double healer
That's
comp.
ridiculous.
I don't think that's something that they've thought about too much when playing it, but that's got to be infuriating for Boasty. You have a guy dash in, dash out, and then just run through the smoke and find a pick. Kayak's now going to try and beat them at their own game, but Purpo just waiting on the other side. A double opener. Still 2 players wait on that A site, and Alfie has just been sitting on B waiting for someone to eventually peek him. I don't think they're going to. Surprised he's not yawning.
There could be a chance to pull this back. 100 Fury's still there, but Crashies has to secure his back, and it's this pick. Oh no!
Dear.
That could decide everything. Well, decision made.
It's not broad.
The Cash did dodge that flash, though. They won't expect him to be this far forward, but the chance converts to 1 kill. And Alfier probably just wants to save this weapon for the next. Good thing he's got his wall behind him. Relatively safe, but double digits for Team Liquid. Fnatic trailing on 6, and a dominant round like this, how they get there, this is a terrifying thought experiment, really, when you expand that to bind, where Liquid will, I think, without a doubt, be more comfortable than this, but I can't even visualize what that would look like. They look so at home here on Corrode.
I don't know. I think if you watch the last 2 maps of Bind they play, you can imagine it.
Actually,
we watched Miniboo fight people in the spawn.
Last map was insane. They almost lost that round. Wait, did they lose that round where he fought in the spawn? Yeah.
Nonetheless, seeing that pace, but I like the layers to it. Like Liquid going super quick in, having that second layer of just a risk taken by Purpo, but then as Fnatic try to react, they're still just holding that space. They're not allowing them any control. Also, I wonder if a part of this is avoiding Alpha here. Like, he's had his setup both times on that B side. I mentioned it the last couple of times that, well, go back to the mates game, they won 16-14. He was 31 and 21. He basically was the reason they won. I think he was the only positive player on Fnatic. Well, if he's going to man the B side, I'd rather go and fight the 4 on A. I'd rather go the other way. And if that is something that Liquid have genuinely thought about, I don't hate it.
I can see Crashy's not happy with that Odin spray in the
I'm
connector.
not happy with it.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you or him. Oh, a chance there for Wayne. This for Liquid, the push towards the A side sees the same pace. The hinders even landed. Boaster, well, it does have some support though. Not under too much pressure just yet, but with the cash down, it has to be Boaster to pull them back into this as he falls. The A site should be for Team Liquid, but Crashies, he reveals his hand. He's shown them that he's here, and the dog spotting him has ended the round. A res just to double down. Liquid knowing how important it is to crush Fnatic's economy and to find themselves that 11th, the home stretch.
Jump shot, pop flash.
He's made it out at least, but then there's a double swing coming at him. 11-6 for Liquid. Home stretch, well and truly mounted.
When do they move Alfia to A? When do they put him there? Because it is genuinely just bombard that elbow side. Just constantly hit it with pace. And also, it's sort of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, it's working for Liquid.
100%.
Keep running it down until they stop us. Keep doing it again and again and again. And then these flashes, like I swear, he's playing Phoenix. He's just pop flashing every time to go for these aggro picks.
The difficult part about this is, though, you can't almost just all in on that A play now. You've just called a timeout. The problem has been A. It certainly hasn't been B outside of the pistol. So then you come to this conclusion of your Team Liquid of, hey, they're taking a moment. What do you think their solution's going to be? It might not necessarily be to put Alpha there, but you have to imagine it's either some defensive or aggressive stance on that side of the map.
But then it becomes the mind games.
Well,
because if you're, no, but it's not even that. If you're Fnatic, you're going, well, we're taking a pause to deal with them on A, so now they'll go B. And so then maybe you change nothing. It just becomes like a pure mind game. I want to see Liquid go A again. I think that's because realistically, if it goes wrong, you go, they counted us. Now we try one of our other strats. If they don't stack it up and you still win, it's hilarious. But well, we now get to see where the mind games have landed. Fnatic, for now at least, seems like they've not changed much at all. They have left Alfia over on that B side. The problem is, and this is the one factor we didn't consider still, is that this is an eco round. So it actually doesn't matter that much.
Yeah. You got to still have ideas when you come into them, but the fact that Liquid likely to hit that 12. Whatever was discussed better be an airtight strategy.
They've just thrown the dog into B early and then not actually sent anyone there. It's just, well, I think again, they're playing passive early to see, as you said, what their opponents are doing. Are they going aggro? Are they taking space? Are they trying to trap us somewhere? But the fact is, Fnatic actually aren't doing too much different.
What I would almost like to see Liquid do here is break that wall, is get some of that information out of Alpha's hands if you want to drag the rotate, and you can see they're clearly expecting some sort of a reaction. And assuming that the trap has been put in towards A main, but instead Fnatic have played back. That still didn't stop Kayak from going down to the spam, but here's the bookie. A chance, an opportunity perhaps with his back held, but Miniboo just dove past Vikash, took Boaster from behind, and now this round is done. Alpha here, the last man standing, and well, his name's already in the history books. This one would underline it. 12-6 for Team Liquid. 6 chances to close out a map that, hell, some Fnatic fans might not have tuned in. They would have just assumed, oh, watch map 2. We're going to win the first with ease. Well, the shoe's on the other foot here.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you're going to go into those first vetoes and go for your strengths. I do think there's some mind games played in the Veto as well. Like maybe you feel a bit more comfortable on like map number 3 or something, because that could be the one that ends up being the beginning of the comeback, or the one that seals it, which of course would be Abyss, which again is a very, very good map. But this was meant to be probably the weakest map that Liquid played versus one of the strongest that Fnatic play, and it is looking like the opposite right now. Liquid in form, and their opponents yet to really show up to the party, especially in this second half. Boast of all kickoff, the pressure put on, Hunter's Fury thrown out to delay them. That B hit, they were finally going to go B. But they might have been denied at the door. No, they're pushing.
Now they've committed so much already, and Liquid have won when they forced the issue. My God! Purpo used himself as a Sky Flash, got Camo the kill, 1 away now from Convergence Path, by the way. The spike is holding deep into spawn, which I'm not a fan of that. Purpo, go back the other way, you're 45 HP, you madman. But if you give Camo the plant here, hell, or if he goes and gets a pick, I suppose.
Oh, dear.
The round could be yours, and then Nats just picks up an AWP,
Spike planted.
finds a kill in mid, and you've already got the advantage.
Well, they've avoided
And the heal on Camo.
the one time the setup was on the other side. They avoided Alfia again, and now the Nats operator has taken over. Alfia, he's been the last alive in every single round, never having a chance to have impact. They've avoided him, they've dodged him, they've had their Alpha radar available the entire time. Does he have anything to keep them in their map choice, to stop them going 0-1 in this series? There's a second. That as well! Maybe this is his moment! No, it is not! Nats will stop him accessing the site, and Liquid take their opponent's choice to start things off 1-0.